Assalamu alaikum. This podcast has been brought to you by SeekersGuidance, the global Islamic seminary. Help us spread the light of prophetic guidance to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Make a small donation at seekersguidance.org/donate. As little as $10 a month can help people find life-changing guidance.
The next question is, what are the qualities of shayateen al-ins and can they be Muslim?
What are the qualities of shayateen al-ins and can they be Muslim? The shaitan is called the shaitan because he departs from what is right. Right? That's where the root comes from. There's a few different interpretations of where the word shaitan comes from and what the root shaitana or what the root is even. But it's this from the sense of the one who departs from the good, or the one who causes others to depart from the good. Right? So therefore, if you depart from the good, you are the one who's distant from good, and the one who distances from good. So the shayateen al-ins, right, this does not refer, so the devils amongst humans, they're not necessarily those who are devil worshippers, though they are those who are devil worshippers. And they have been for a long time. From before Islam, there are some who dedicated themselves either out of delusion or deliberateness to worship the devil. And there are still tribes, even in places like Jordan, who are called ubadu shaitan. And it is generally sort of mild delusion rather than deliberately doing the devil's work, right? But there are also a lot of forces of the occult that are out there in the mainstream. If you read about occult symbolism in pop music, pretty much all the major artists use the symbolism of the occult and of darkness and evil and pharaonic symbols and symbols of the devil and of black magic and all kinds of things in there. Symbolism. And then let alone in what the devil incites to, they embody. Right? So the shayateen al-ins, the devils amongst humans, are those who are actively calling to and promoting those things that the shaitan calls to and promotes. Those who actively call to disbelief. Those who actively call to oppression. Those who actively call to and promote corruption, vice. I mean, we're in an age where people find it not at all problematic to have a website called vice.com. That's a place that people go to for news. It's been normalized. Okay? And as C.S. Eliot puts in the Screwtape Letters, one of the smartest tricks that the devil has ever played is to make people imagine that he no longer exists. So people who are actively promoting these states, these are devils amongst human beings. Those who call to these things or who drive people towards these things. Right? And there are some people who are dedicated to promotion of disbelief, oppression, corruption, vice, right? And then there's others who unwittingly do the devil's work, right? So they're doing something wrong, they drag someone along with them. So they're not devils in that they're not the sales team for the devil, but they end up, and that's why one should be very careful of not of not coming close to that. Right? And one needs to know that the devil is real, but we don't need to worry about who's the devil, because he's from the unseen. The shayateen these are unseen forces, but their work has manifestations, right? And things are known by their manifestations. Right? So if a tree is healthy, it'll bear good fruit. But there's a tree that is sick, you could tell that by what's manifest, by its fruit. The fruit will be tainted. But if the fruit of a tree is rotten, keep away from it. Okay? Keep away from it and strive to be a healer where you can. Okay? So this is, and we have to also be careful that we not fall into the ways of the devil, right? In the sense that there are things characteristic of disbelief and corruption and vice, etc. As believers, we keep away from those matters, right? Because innahu lakum aduwwum mubin. The devil is a manifest enemy to you. So that entails keeping a distance from those symbols of disbelief. And the standards for that very often have been, made people no longer think it grave. If you consider just one example, the impact that the film industry has had on public morality. Right? And this is an industry of corruption. So there was a documentary about Damascus or something that the French Cultural Center in Damascus decided to do a performance for, and they invited the scholars of Damascus to. And it was actually culturally sensitive, etc. None of them went. Why? Because it's being showcased in a theater. Okay? But that theater normally, what does it play? It plays things that, if one pauses, it's not innocent. There are deep underlying forces in play. And that people like Sheikh Hamza Yusuf in recent years have warned a lot about this, that one needs to be aware of the symbolism underlying these things. Or what drives the fashion industry, for example. What kinds of people are driving the fashion industry? It's not just innocent, right? And this affects people very, very deeply. The number of times that Muslim women, but also Muslim men come who have such problems with their self-image, etc. Why? Because human beings are being contorted into shapes that have been shaped by people with very ugly visions of the world, who are calling to the worst tendencies of humanity. And it's apparent even in male dress. Right? No one wore trousers that were tight around the mid-area, etc., in dignified society for much of human history. There are some weird things that happen in Europe in some phases if you study the history of dress. But by and large, like modesty was a governing value for both men and for women. But much of that gets lost. But it's not an accident, because there are many ugly forces within. So the way to keep away from these armies is to be aware. There are things in this life that are wholesome and good. The believer embraces those things, supports those things. And there are other forces that are ugly and dark. Okay? And one keeps away from them. But وَإِذَا مَرُّوا بِاللَّغْوِ مَرُّوا كِرَامًا. But when they passed by frivolity, or even worse than that, they passed by kirama, in a noble and dignified manner. So that's how we approach keeping away from such forces. Right?
Thank you for listening. This podcast was brought to you by Seekers Guidance, the Global Islamic Seminary. Visit SeekersGuidance.org to access reliable Islamic knowledge taught by qualified teachers. We offer a wide range of courses, podcasts, articles, and a world-class answer service. Support us in spreading free, reliable Islamic knowledge to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Visit SeekersGuidance.org/donate and make a small monthly commitment today. Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Whoever guides someone to goodness will have a similar reward." So don't forget to share this podcast and spread prophetic guidance.